Hey everyone, welcome to 2025. It's Brad in Belgrade. I'm still in Serbia, believe it or not. I originally came here in 2020 during the height of the global situation, and I decided to get an apartment, and then I decided to get residency and stay here. And the reason I did that, obviously you know from my other videos, is because the Serbs were very generous to me during my time of need. I needed a place to go because I had to leave Thailand, and America was breaking out in riots all over. And so I needed a place to go during the global situation in 2020 and beyond. I have been here now for 4 years and going on 5 years. And during that time, the Serbian parliament actually reduced the time to permanent residency from 5 years to 3 years. And so the law kind of changed over my head, and I was able to file for my permanent residence. And the police, the immigration inspectors were very supportive of me doing that. I'm very grateful to them. And I was granted my permanent residence. So I don't have citizenship yet. That's going to come possibly next year. But I have permanent residence, and I always have a new home. As you know, I'm not going back to America. So I have a new home in Serbia with my permanent residence. And a lot of things have changed here in Serbia, and I want to talk about that in this video because it's a lot different now than, it's a different country than I came to. And for the better, but in the short term, kind of, it's harder, but we'll get into that. So what changed in 2022? Well, you know, the Ukrainian situation broke out, and a lot of Russian people and Ukrainians were leaving their country, and they also needed a place to go like me, you know? And so they all came to Serbia because Serbia is a Slavic people as well, and they were welcoming of Ukrainians and Russians at the time. And well, then it got crazy. And then they all showed up. And there wasn't enough housing to really support, 100,000 new people inside of the capital of Belgrade. There's lots of housing here, and it's great, but when you have an injection of about 100,000 new people, things get really crazy really fast. So, rents were going up really high, and global inflation also has affected Serbia, just as it's affected your country. And that's probably why you're watching this video, is try to find an escape route. So, do I think you should still come to Serbia in 2025? Yes, I do. But it's not as low cost as it was in my 2020 video. In my 2020 video, the cost was about the same price or slightly more expensive than Thailand. It was a very good deal. As global inflation took off, and the Russian-Ukrainian situation started to flare up, Serbia grew as a country. Their GDP grew, and things got more expensive, unfortunately. But it's still less expensive than many other countries around us, except for housing in the capital of Belgrade. So I didn't want to participate in kind of like the rat race, because that's what I left America to escape myself. So when I first came here, I took an apartment that no Serbian person wanted because in their opinion, it was ugly, Yugoslavian, unrenovated, but that's what attracted me to that apartment. And as the immigration crisis kind of took off, more and more people needed apartments, and landlords started raising rents. So I didn't want to participate and get in a bidding war and everything like that. So I decided just to pack up and move to central Serbia and to a town called Kruševac. And it's a small town, very beautiful, very flat for the most part. And it was also still low cost because many people weren't going there. Most people were trying to leave. It's a industrial town, and but I will say, compared to other cities in Serbia, it's very well taken care of. The city center is very, very nice. So I was able to get an apartment there in a new building for the same price as I was paying in Belgrade. So that's where I've been. I've just basically been working from 2022, on after I moved to Kruševac. And moving to Serbia has some challenges with weight gain. I've gained about 10 kilos living here. I don't know if you see it in my face, but many people do. I do. And it's just because the food is so good here and so plentiful, and everyone's trying to feed you. People are trying to give you food for free. It's like there's fresh honey, there's organic food. I mean, there's almost anything you want. There's even sushi here. So when you live in a smaller town in Serbia, it's a challenge because all you do is if you work remotely or you consult remotely or you have a remote income of some sort, there's just basically, you just eat and sleep and work, and slowly but surely you gain weight. So watch out for that if you come here to Serbia. So if you come here to Serbia, there's 3 main routes to get residency, as you probably know. You buy a house or an apartment, you get married, or you open a company or entrepreneurship. So you have to do that for about 3 years, and then you get permanent residence. And then you have to keep it going until you get your citizenship. So what are my plans long term? I took a Serbian friend to Thailand this last year, and we spent 3 months in the Southeast Asian region, 2 months in Thailand, a month in Malaysia, and a week in Turkey, actually. And we brought another Serb with us to Turkey, and we all had a really good time. And so I would say what's really funny is if you look at my Instagram story viewers, it was primarily all Westerners when I came here. And slowly but surely that's tapered off. And like a lot of my social media following is like only Serbs. So that's interesting. And when I came to Serbia the first time, for the first time, I made a video in front of Parliament, and I actually didn't know I didn't even know what I was gonna say. I just started blabbing, and it went viral in Serbia. And it made me easily recognizable on the street, and people were very friendly to me. I don't like to make videos about like the food, because that's what every other YouTuber does. And like the food is great, but if you want food, go to someone else's channel, because I'm not gonna tell you about Burek for the 1000th time, okay? I'm gonna tell you about my life experiences here in Serbia and how I've been treated. And how I've been treated is literally like gold. What's funny is Serbian people complain to me about bureaucracy and long lines and banks not willing to help them. I've never experienced that in my life. And I think it's a lot different for foreigners here, obviously. But like when I opened my bank account, it was like very quick, very fast. They tried to help me. They barely spoke English at the branch I went to, but they still tried to help me, even though they told me I have to fill out this paperwork for my company. It's American tax paperwork for my Serbian company. I'm like, no, I shouldn't have to do that for the Serbian company. I understand I have to do that for my personal account, but this is a Serbian entity. They're like, no. And I just kept going. I was the annoying one, okay? And I was in the wrong. At the end of the day, I was in the wrong and they were in the right. But they still had patience, still were very, very nice to me. The immigration inspectors both in Belgrade and in Kruševac have been very nice to me as well, and very helpful. I don't have any complaints about the institutions here. Whenever I have to go get health insurance or deal with the state or anything, it's always really quick for me. I think one of the things that maybe the people in the institutions here appreciate is I have all the information and all my paperwork ready to go when I walk in. So I think that's kind of what makes my life easier here. For example, when I was getting my Serbian driver's license, they're like, oh, we need your white card. And I was like, oh, it's right here. I brought all of my paperwork. And so maybe that's the secret, but I haven't experienced bureaucracy here or anything like that. I've experienced nothing but good vibes. And that's why I stayed here so long, because I don't have to stay here if I don't want to. I can move back to Bali. I can move back to Thailand. But I stay here because I feel comfortable here. And I feel accepted and wanted here as a foreigner. And Serbia is a growing country. And it's funny because I predicted that when I first came here. I was like, guys, I can't believe, like if you watch my first video moving to Serbia in 2020, I was like, guys, I can't believe this place is so good, you know, like, oh, I can't believe it's like, you know, like no one's here, no one, you know. But now look, you know, they're becoming more internationally recognized. From what I understand, now maybe this might not be true, but from what I understand, they have the National Bank, I think, published a report that said that they had like 28 billion euros in reserves this year. Yes, inflation has hit Serbia as it's hit every place else, but Serbia imports a lot, so it's not really Serbia's fault that the West is printing money, you know, and that euros are being printed and US dollars are being printed and the world's economy runs on euros and USD. That's not Serbia's fault. So if you move to Serbia, I recommend that you set up in Belgrade temporarily, but then you try to find a place that is maybe less expensive. Even if you have a lot of money coming in, just don't feel like you have to pay it all in rent to live in city center. You could live in Subotica. You can live in all these other little places. And they're actually really good little towns. And you can take a bus an hour or two into Belgrade when you want, and you can get a hotel or, you know, a private apartment for still 20 or 50 euros a night. So it's not too expensive. So yeah, so I just wanted to report the good news. I got my permanent residence and that things are looking up here still. And everything's going good. So that's pretty much it. I'll try to make some more videos for you guys. So make sure you hit subscribe and like the video. And I'll see you in the next one. Ciao for now from Kalemegdan Park. If you look over there, the fortress is right there. Ciao for now.